Hello and welcome to the Yarnings Podcast. I'm Christine and I'll be your host. This is episode 74. Today is Wednesday, November 25th. It is the day before Thanksgiving here in the United States. So I'm calling this episode Giving Thanks. I see sunshine outside. It has been very cold here in the Vancouver, Washington. I just put my yarn around my leg. I have the balls for this project in the bag on the floor so that they tangle a little less. And I caught them on my leg. I will fix that because it's difficult to knit with it all twisted around. So it's been very, very cold. When my husband checked the weather before he left this morning, it was 34. And that was at 7:15 in the mornings, but still, it's been pretty cold. We decided that it seems colder than normal years because we went from so warm to so cold quickly. And so in the past we have eased into these cold temperatures, and so it hasn't seemed so drastic. So we've been bundling up. All right, so how about some real life stories? Okay. All right, so I have been trying to find little breaks to record, and those have been a little harder to find in the last few weeks, so we are taking one for right now. There may be an interruption from construction things, but if I need to pause and go do anything, I will do that, and we will get this podcast up and done, even if it takes a few little breaks to do that. For life stories, let's actually move into that. Okay. Oh, sheesh. My brain is a little bit askew today. I did a lot of walking yesterday. It was a normal busy Tuesday for me, starting out with yoga, being out all day, a date with my husband. And so I typically get a lot of steps on Tuesday, more than any of the other days. But then we had to go to Costco and Safeway after dinner, so that made it even a little longer. So my body's a little sore today, and I am grateful that I can relax a little bit today before the busy celebrations of Thanksgiving start tomorrow. So renovation has been moving forward. We are nearing the finish line, or at least the construction part of it is very close to being done. There's a chance that all but the final cleaning up of all of the tools and all that might finish today. It's getting close. We got our table delivered. We started putting up some of the new lighting, and things are falling into place. I'm getting to actually put some things in the drawers, just very slowly as I'm rewashing stuff that was out in the garage. A lot of construction dust, and I didn't have enough sealed containers. I didn't put things in closed boxes because a lot of things had to just get dumped into boxes at the last minute when I wasn't anticipating emptying drawers and stuff. So those things are getting rewashed so that then when I'm drying them, I'm putting them back into their locations in the new cupboards. So that's really exciting. I got a lot of my dividers all figured out for where they're going to be, and I think I'll still need a few more things, but I have a very good base of like spice trays, and there's a drawer that has a storage section that sits on the rails of it, so it's above the contents of the drawer, and that's really neato. I like that. So all of that is IKEA stuff and inspired by looking through the drawers. When you're going through the showroom, it says, open this up for an organized organized interior or something along those lines. And I spent a lot of time looking at those, trying to see what ways people have put things together that make sense. And so that was fun. So coming along, I am really grateful that even though this fall has been a lot different because of this renovation, I have a great kitchen to look forward to in the end. And just because this year has been a little less of my normal fall things because of this renovation, it's just 1 year. It doesn't have to mean that this is the way that it's going to have to go every year. This is a special year. And so thinking about the finish line is going to be amazing. And this is just 1 year in the grand scheme of things. And so I'm really grateful. And I'm grateful that I have had the support of my friends, my podcast watchers that have cheered me on during this whole process. It definitely seems more epic to me as I'm going through it, but I really appreciate the kind words all the way through, not just at the beginning. I've had so much support all the way through, and that is really amazing to me. And so practicing gratefulness in my everyday life is something that I totally strive for. It's something that is one of my goals in life, to tell people when I'm thankful for them. And with busy holidays, sometimes it's easy to get in a busy, hectic hustle and bustle that sometimes can turn into stress, sometimes can even turn into anxiety. Being grateful in the midst of that, finding the little things that are positive and happy, that's what makes it more of a special holiday celebration for me. So maybe those words will help you in getting through a more stressful situation, or something that is just an annoying thing you have to be part of because of traditions. It might not be your favorite thing, but finding one thing that is a grateful thing. Maybe it's the smile of a kid that is related to you. Maybe, I don't know, but looking for those moments to be cheerful, or not even cheerful, just being grateful. So, with that said, how about we move into some yarnings and adventures in knitting? And since I just got past that stitch marker, I will pause on this and I'll actually show you this first. I have done a little bit of work on my On the Motorway. Here's the little cables and the big cables. This is a pattern by Adrienne Larson. This is from the book Midwestern Knits that I kickstarted. It is on the back burner right now because it's not my nakniswemo sweater. Turn it right side out. Got askew there. But I am getting somewhere, slowly but surely. I really have only worked on it a couple times this week when I've sat down at my desk. It's been an easy thing to pick up because I know the stitch pattern now. I still have quite a ways to go. Let's see how many inches I'm at. I think I need to get to 11. I don't even remember anymore. I'm at 9-ish inches. So, yeah. That is coming along, and that will go back to being a primary project as soon as my nakniswemo is done. And let's see how few times I can clink the needles doing this. There are a lot of needles and holders on here. My nakniswemo is very close So I don't remember what I had done last time when I talked to you last, but I put the body on holders so that I could do the sleeves and have as much yarn as I wanted for the body. So the sleeves are nearly done. I measured this morning and posted on Instagram that I got further on the sleeves than I thought I did. And so I'm about an inch further than it said for me to start my ribbing. And I wanted to do 5 rows of, let's see, this texture up here on the top that is 3 rows of the hand spun with the 2 rows of the soft yarn, the Daisy Knits yarn in between the body yarn. And so I'll need another inch to do that. So I think my ribbing will be a little bit shorter, and I like my sweaters just a touch longer. I have a little bit longer arms than typical. I need to go back and look at the schematics, but I had to bring the book back to the library, so I need to see if I still have that. I need to buy the book, but I haven't ordered it yet. It's in my Amazon shopping cart at the moment. So, by the next time I record, you guys will see this, because I am that close. And then I think I'll do the neckline before I go back to the body, and then the body will just zoom. I might even bring it to work on at Thanksgiving, but either way, it's going to zoom over the weekend, and I will have a sweater. And I absolutely love it. So this is a pattern from the Ann Budd Handy Book of Top-Down Sweaters. This is the top-down yoke recipe. And I'm using Daisy Knits Petal Base in the Thinking of Mel colorway. And then the colorfulness is my hand-spun Wool Gatherings, the color I was calling cheesecake. They don't name them. But it looked like cheesecake to me when I was working on it. So, and I switched which direction I was using as I was adding the color in so that it made the colors a little more dynamic. And I'm really excited about this, and it's going to be so soft and cozy. The petal base of the Daisy Knits is part alpaca, so it's very soft. It's going to be very warm, and yeah, it's going to be fabulous. So, I'm going to set this right here. There. A few less needle lengths. There's just so many needle tips. I'm doing the sleeves 2 at a time on 2 circs, and then 2 different other stitch holders. So other things that I have going. I put a little bit of work on my Calais hat from Cast Iron Cast On, the book I reviewed last week. And I'm not sure, you can barely see, the linen stitch has some of my hand spun in it, and now I've gone to using just the Bumble Birch. So this is the combo. I've got Bumble Birch Vernacular in the eggplant colorway. Let's see. Bumble Birch Vernacular. It's a 2-ply fingering weight. Oh, eggplant. Is that what I said? No. Cormo. Oregon Cormo. And then the hand spun is my little ply on the fly. And in real life, they have a nice amount of difference, but once they're in the linen stitch, it's a little hard to see, and that's okay. I'm good with that. It just adds just a little bit of accent, and I got to use a little bit of my hand spun for this, so that made it fun. So now I'm moving into the pattern. I'm only 2 rows into the pattern, and so far it doesn't seem like a very intuitive pattern, so I'm hoping if I get a few more rows on it today, that then it will be okay for conversation knits tomorrow, because it's small to carry along with me, and my niece is working on a hat, and so I had suggested she should bring her hat, and we could knit on hats together. So we'll see. We'll see if I can get this to a point where I can know what I'm doing. Otherwise, the socks will go. So that's the Calais hat. And the socks. Creative Mojo bag. I'm in the middle of a sock, but that's okay. These are my Panacoken socks. Panacoken. These are vanilla socks in Spartacus dyes, Panacoken purple from ZK 2015. Such pretty pinks and purples, and they make me happy every time I pull them out because then I sing the Panacoken song in my head. Or sometimes aloud. Eric got to hear it a few times this weekend because when I was getting stressy, I was like, I'm going to pull out my socks, and then I sang the song. So the story behind that is when you order this specific Panacoken, which is a German pancake, but better, at this restaurant in Rochester, where ZK is held, when they deliver it to your table, they sing a song. And so I have made an attempt at making Panacoken a few times and sang the song while I brought it out to the table. And it just amuses me to no end. And last year I went there twice for breakfast because it was so delicious. So these socks got a lot of work on them. Between activities this weekend, there was an eye exam. We went to IKEA and had to return some things. Oh no, wait, I actually brought my sweater this weekend. Last weekend that happened. And then there was a basketball game that weekend, and I went to see my nephew play. And so there's been a lot of opportunity for small bits of time on these socks. I'm trying to think of what the other big thing that I brought this to last week was. It just feels like I have gotten a nice chunk of work on them, and they are getting close to needing... Oh, sorry, that was a notification, and I thought I had closed all those things. They had... What was I going to say? I don't know. I got lost. Oh, they're very close to needing to be measured to see how close I am to the heel. Let's measure. I have a tape measure right here. It's actually a Pearlescence tape measure that I got from some Knitwear Girls goodie bag at some point. I am at 6 inches, so I have another 1.25 inches, I think, before I will start the heel. I'll do a Fish Lips Kiss heel. I'm just doing these vanilla because I needed them to be basic. I needed them to be easy to carry around, and I am very pleased with them. I don't know if they'll be my last socks of the year or not. Depends on how long I make them, I'm pretty sure. There, now I am done with the needles. I might knit on those a little more while we talk. Okay. My iPad show notes up here decided to turn themselves off. My Swiffer cover I have not touched again. So let's move in to yarnings and spinning a tale. So I now have two different turtle cups of my Knitty & Color Ultra Light at Night, and I have that much left. So I think when I started this, I had 30 more grams to go. And it's really not all pink and purple. There's beautiful blues and greens inside of there. Which one could you see? That one. There's beautiful blues and greens. It's just right now all you can see is pink and purple. And I'm still thinking this would make a really cool citrone. And I have watched a lot of Stargate and Farscape, and so I think it needs to have something about space or wormholes. Possibly wormholes in the name of the project. So this will probably be finished with singles this weekend. That's my guess, because I'm that close. Hi, I'm back. I took a break to let my brother in and eat some lunch. So here I am, and we will talk some more. So, next thing on our list is yarnings. Stitch Through Time. So, paper piecing. I'm going to show you one of my completed blocks. So this takes 5 of the flowers. So this right here is a flower. Takes 5 of those, and then I'm adding these black dupe. They're in a consistent pattern, so there'll be a circle of them here, and that is the top of my thing. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another half of one, and I've done 3 of them. This is one of the smaller ones. The one I just completed is 3 of these wide and 4 of these wide. Or is it 5? I don't know. But it gets bigger. So, I just thought I'd show you where I am in the process. The back still looks pretty neat with all of the basting threads are the white, and then the seams are done with pink. Let's see if I can fold one neatly so that you can see. There you go. See all of those pink, millions of tiny pink stitches, and it blends in well. They're so small that you can see them when you're close up, but it's not bad. I like it. It's a nice accent, and I'm glad that I chose the pink because that was fun to do. So this is coming along. I wrote down I have 19 of the flowers that are sewn together. So this is 5 of those. There are 14 flowers still to be sewn together. I am still basting some of the black. So the black, I still will have more that I'll put around the edges of these. And then I've got a few more left over of the other ones that I will spread around to smooth out some of the edges as well. But that'll need to be done in a little more. I need to finish basting so that then I can see how many more things I need to fill in. So that's coming up next. So this is coming along really, really nicely. And every time I sit down and do it, I don't want to stop. I've gotten pretty good at working with my thimble. So I put my thimble on my middle finger, and then when I'm pushing my needle through, I use the edge of that finger to help push it in, and then when I grab onto the needle, I grab it. Let's see if I can do it this way so you can see. I grab it with the silicone of the thimble, so then when I'm pulling it through, it keeps that thread at the same spot. The end and both ends being at the same spot, whereas if I just pulled it, then the end just comes out. So if I pull it and hold it up against the silicone, it works really well for me. So I'm getting used to that. It's not a tool that I thought I absolutely needed, but I'm really glad I have it because the edge of this finger was getting a little rough from having the end of the needle poke into it every time I went in. So there you go. That's my English paper piecing. I did also read a new book. I got it out of the library and then it was due back, and so I didn't get to keep it and show you guys, but it's called A New Hexagon, and it has a bunch of patterns for motifs that go inside of hexagons. And so there were some really cool ideas in there, and so I think that I'm going to at least get the ebook copy of that and see if something out of those could be my next project. Yes, I am thinking about my next project. All right, so knitting community. There is a thread up now for the Conversation Cal, the Convo Cal. This is a knit along where you knit things that you can do while you're doing other things. And to be part of the drawing at the end, all you have to do is post a picture of your knitting and talk about how you're doing it with other things. So it can be while you're watching TV, it can be while you're having holiday conversations with people, it can be while you're relaxing and recharging for the next holiday activities. Just go get your name in there. We're going to have some fun prizes this time. I've got a couple things that I have in mind and some things that vendors have given me. So that will be cool. So go and participate in that thread. I also, knitting community-wise, started watching a new podcast. Jennifer of Daisy Knits, she's the fantastic dyer behind, did you see I just hit myself in the face with that? That kind of stuff happens. She's the dyer of the Thinking of Mel colorway I'm using here. And she is a dear person. We have met at both zombie apocalypses. Did not Nickpocalypse? I don't know. We'll do the plural there. The two that I have been to. I've been to the second and the third ones. I'll be at the fourth. And she is just a sweetheart, and she's geeky like me. So I was really excited to see she has a podcast now. So that's on YouTube only. It's not on iTunes, but I will link to that in the show notes. Also, I just wanted to say that the knitting community is such a blessing to me in my everyday life. Just being able to reach out to my friends that I have met because of knitting, hashtag actually knitting, had a because of knitting thing a while back, and so when I said that, that's how it came out. Because of knitting, I have such a fuller life and such awesome connections and friendships and dear sweet friends, and just I'm so grateful for the knitting community. And the knitting community is only a moment away with my phone. I can see what people are posting on Instagram and interact with them. I can watch and listen to my podcasts. I can spend time chatting, video format, text format with the close friends that I've made. It's amazing. So I would encourage you to reach out and connect with someone today in your knitting community. Comment on something instead of just smiling at it yourself. Comment and leave a smile for that person too. Just continue to be grateful for those potential friendships around you today. Okay. I was going to touch my iPad up here and I touched the wrong thing. All right. So let's move into Sagas of Geekery and now playing. We haven't played anything this week, but while the games are still up on the shelf right here, they probably will be moving back downstairs soonly. I'll show you a game that was up here. So I looked through the stack and I thought about showing you some small games, but those ones I can easily carry up any day. So I thought I'd show you Manhattan Project. This is a worker placement game. I'm not going to do a whole walkthrough. I just wanted to show you what it looks like inside of the box. It's a worker placement game where you are taking the people that you have and doing different tasks. And so on your turn, you will put all of your guys out, alternating turns between the other people. There is a board that has a bunch of different options of things you can do. There are cards that go up here that you can buy to add to your personal board, which look like this. There's a track on the top for how many fighters and bombers you have. You are building bombs. You're trying to detonate them and test them out so that they will be worth more to you in the end. So you have, let's see, these are some of the buildings that you can add to your board. But you have these cute little guys. I always pick purple because the purple guys are so adorable. So you have little scientist bug-eye guys. You have regular little construction workers with overalls. And these ones, no, these are construction guys. The other ones are just workers. This guy was just a worker. This is a construction guy. He's got a little hard hat, clipboard. So depending on the different things, you need different types of guys, and you put them all out, and you do all the things, and you can get yellow cake, and I called this one carrot cake because it's orange, yellow cake, and carrot cake. So it is a really fun worker placement game. it is nice because I can knit while I play this one because it's turn-based. You don't have a hand of cards, and so it's nice for being able to knit conversation Cal style while you're playing. I can hold my knitting in the one hand and place my guides with the other hand. So here's how the back looks. There's all those cards you can buy and stuff. So it's a great, fun game. And I don't always play it where I'm beating people up. That is definitely an option, but I tend to play it the little more peaceful way. You can see over here, ages 13 and up, 2 to 5 players, 120 minutes. That's pretty accurate. It's a nice sized game, and we have a couple of the expansions in here, and that gives it even a little more fun. Usually, by the time I've built up my engine of the things that I have to do each turn so that I can gain the stuff that I want for end points, then the game's ending. Like, oh, I don't want it to be done yet. That's my general mode in things, though. So that's Manhattan Project. Yes, you'll hear a little pounding downstairs, but it's okay. So, still Sagas of Geekery now watching. We're watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Castle. I finished Stargate SG-1 again. I've been through it many, many times, but it's always sad to be done with it. I need to find or rent the movies, the follow-up movies next. I need to do that soon because I'm really excited to rewatch the end of the Ori storyline and be able to see more of Jack and Sam. We also kind of went back and started watching some Farscape. I guess that seeing Claudia Black and Ben Browder, I needed to watch Farscape again too. And we were partway through when Netflix took it off, and now it's back. So we're in the middle of season 3. We picked up and we've been watching some of them. Some of the episodes are pretty hit and miss, especially the middle of this season. But it's still a good show, and I really like these characters. We also watched a movie called Knights of Badassdom with Summer Glau, and it was just cheesy. I mean, it was about a LARP, but it was a murder, horror kind of weirdness that went along with it. So I don't know that I'd recommend it, but it was entertaining, I guess. The movie we watched that was better, that we rewatched, was Born Supremacy. That one was on Netflix. And Jessica Jones, the newest Marvel Netflix series, was added to Netflix this last week, so that will be on our queue really quick. Sagas of Geekery now reading. We're still listening to For the Win by Cory Doctorow. I started the Inhumans comic series, the volume 1 of the newest incarnation of Inhumans. It was interesting to see that Lash, who we have just met in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was a character in there, and I hadn't realized that that wasn't just a Jed Whedon Mercatentione created character for the show. So that was kind of interesting. And I have volumes 2 and 3 of this run. I don't know if the library had 4, or maybe 4 is not out yet. It's relatively new, so that's been the comic book reading. Okay, how about some fanciful chatter? I thought I would show you my hat drawer. So we don't have a dresser. We sold the bedroom furniture in anticipation of moving at some point, and now we're staying here for a while. So all the clothes that are not hung up are in Rubbermaid containers or baskets like this. So this is my hat drawer. Oh, so I thought I'd show you some of my hats. So I am wearing, this one is, I called it I'm a Star. What is the pattern? I have my Ravelry hats page behind here. This is Hollywood Boulevard by Alex Tinsley. And it has a star motif on the top of it. It's very loose. I probably made it a little too big, but I had more hair when I knit this. So it is a little slouchy, but it could be a little bit tighter. So some of the other ones in here. I have one that I made a couple of years ago as a template. This was a basic one, but I really liked that I got to use my one-of-a-kind Portland, Oregon button. It's called the company is One of a Kind. She makes ceramic buttons. So that one's a really nice warm one. Let's see. Of course, I knit this sock head hat. When did I knit this? Last fall? September 2014. So this one is awesome. It is very slouchy, but it actually stays on. I do have to be careful how I put the ribbing so that it lays nicely, but I like this one. The other one that's really slouchy is one of my own design that I believe I talked about on the podcast when I was working on it. I guess the sock head was also. This is my slip slant pattern, but it's not out yet. It's alternating two different colors and a slanting pattern that gets more slanty as it goes upward. And I actually tied it off because it was so loose. And so I haven't decided if I want to tighten it up a little bit more and then tack those ends down. I don't know. So those are some slouchy ones. One of my very favorites is, I called it rose water. I think that's what it's called. This one's a little bit harder to show up on the screen because it's so dark, but this is a Tin Can Knits pattern. I knit it in Barocco Vintage. Barocco Vintage DK. It's called Rose Water by Tin Can Knits. And it is a very nice fitting one. I have even worn it this way. And it looks awfully cute. I'm not going to show you the cowls today. I might show you another day. This is what I called my slouchy road trip hat. It's got Noro and a random worsted, and I really like this one. This one is nice and slouchy. It's got the pretty picot edge. It's a picot folded edge, which makes it really unique, but that gives it a really nice stable edge on it. This one is a Solda Teague pattern, and it's got the pretty motif on there. It's a very interesting construction. Let's see, this one is, I called it Purple Snow because at the time I was really into Once Upon a Time, and Mary Margaret wore a lot of fancy hats, and so she's Snow White, so snow. So it was my Purple Snow. The pattern is Almond Comfort, and it's in Fiberspace Scrumptious Aran, which was the called for yarn, which is rare that I actually use the called for yarn, but I bought it on a yarn crawl. Oh, I wrote, it was my first hat. This was my first hat. 2012, so I cast it on right after the yarn crawl that year. First hat. This one wasn't that far after that. This is the Merit hat. And I think I'll keep that one on because this one fits really nicely. I like the green. I think it's Knitted Wit. She's local to me and makes some really nice yarn. Merit is the name of the hat. Knitted Wit worsted. Yep. Again, I bought this in 2012 and finished it the next year. So I like that one. It's a really pretty green. So yes, I'll leave that on. It might bring out my eyes. And I think that's all the hats. I have several cowls in here, so maybe next week I will show you the cowls and hats. So I hope you enjoyed that little fun. The one that's not in here, though, that I need to find is my sockhead hat that I made last holiday season. And that one, I don't know where it went. I thought it was back on this shelf back here, and I can't find it. So I'm definitely going to need that one soon because it's Christmas colors. All right. Book of cooking. Obviously, we haven't been cooking still, but we did try Beecher's. It's a brand name, Beecher's Mac and Cheese. And they make cheese in Seattle, and it was really good. It was in the freezer section, and yeah, really nice. Thanksgiving food, I'm looking forward to that. I am bringing Easy to buy things this year. I'm giving myself the grace that I know that I can't cook anything, and so I am bringing food that I can buy, like pumpkin pie and rolls and butter and veggie tray and that kind of stuff. I am looking forward to the stuff that my family is cooking. I'm going to my parents' house. All my siblings, all my 4 siblings will be there and their families, so that will be good. 4, happiness continues. I am working on being content with doing things a little bit slower because everything is a little busy right now and I need to be a little slower and a little more methodical with my actions, and that's okay. I learned in yoga last week that when you do poses where your joints are stacked, like your knees over your ankles, those kind of poses tell your body everything's okay. You're good. Everything's fine. So it brings a sense of groundedness and balance. Obviously, you need balance in the technical way to stay in a pose, but also just the balance of contentment. And so that was a really cool factoid, and I'm really enjoying. I love my yoga teacher, and I love Foundations of Yoga. It is really a good class for me. So yes, groundedness and balance in all things are good. Okay, I think I will be done for today, although I was going to show you my ginger snap lotion again because it's sitting in front of me. This little ginger gets snappy because what could be more Thanksgiving-y than ginger snap lotion? Maybe I'll stick that in my bag tomorrow even though it's big because it sure smells good and it smells seasonal. All right, so I think that'll do us for today. You can get in touch with me around the internet. I am Christine with a K on Ravelry. I am Katie LB, just the letters, on Instagram. You can find the Yarnings podcast group on Ravelry and get in touch with each other. And the show notes with links to everything that I talk about are at yarningspodcast.com. All right, until next time, guys, that's the story. Bye.